just to start with.
Science is more of a broad kind of term because there's different kinds of science.
Okay. And there are also different kinds of engineering.
Mm-hmm. Or engineering is more physical, like applications, and science is more theoretical.
Engineering can get very theoretical too.
Okay.
And science can get very applied too. But that's a good start. That's a great start. In fact, that's why it's called applied science.
True.
Engineering is called applied science most of the time, right?
Yes, it is.
Mythbusters.
There is a very distinct difference between engineering and science, and it can be said in one sentence. We'll make it very clear. Engineering is about problem solving. Science is about observation. Example, science. Look at the night sky, look at the moon. I make one statement, right? I make one statement, and then I design an experiment to see whether it is correct or not. And then I can conclude that whether my statement is true or not. For example, I say that the moon will change its shape every month. This is my statement, formerly known as the hypothesis. I think that the moon, as observed on Earth, will change its shape every month. So what do? I can actually see it. I don't need to grab a microscope or a telescope. I can actually see it. So I go every day and I look at the night sky. I see that in the beginning of the month, I can't see the moon at all. And then in the quarter into a month, I see a moon that is not completely circular. And then in the middle of the month, I see that the moon is round. And then it becomes non-circular again and eventually disappears. So by observation, I can tell that my statement is false or positive. Right? So this is science, but there is no engineering in it. Right? As far as I've described it, what is engineering? Well, think about it. Let's say I once go and walk beside the lake and I see that there is an island in the middle of Lake Ontario. I want to get there. How do I do it? I can swim, but that's kind of far.
Build a boat.
I can build a bridge. I can build a bridge actually. But why not? Because it's too costly. I can build a boat, and that's the solution we have right now. Right? So that's engineering. That's solving a physical problem. So then you can understand, if you're going into science, this is the culture that you will be subjected in. You will be making statements, you will be making observations, and you will falsify or justify a statement. In engineering, you'll be solving problems all the time. There will be bridge building, there will be, in electronics, there will be, okay, we need to do math, and we suck at math. Well, humans generally suck at math. We can't really do 3 times 10 to the 8 times, Planck's constant, for example. Then how are we going to calculate the energy of a photon if we can't do it very fast? So we need a computer to do it. So this is the key difference between science and engineering. Now, question number 2. How you do it versus what you do. Very important. In fact, if I were to reorganize my talk, I would put that in front. What you do versus how you do it. Very important. When I introduce what I'm doing, I actually said both. I conduct research in the area of so and, blah blah. I conduct research in the area of blah blah. So the first part of my introduction was about how I do it. The second part of my statement was about what I do. All right. So 3 examples to make it more concrete. The electrician, the engineer, and the inventor. Let me be more general. The technician, the engineer, and the inventor. What does a technician do? A technician executes instructions ordered by the engineer to do something. Right? He did not start anything new. He basically carries out instruction. The engineer deals with the problem itself. If I need to build a bridge, what concrete do I use? How long is it going to be? What the structure will be like? How many men should I delegate to it? These are the questions that the engineers will figure out. All of these are very loosely speaking, right? There are overlaps, but what would the inventor do? In the case of the bridge, the inventor would be like, okay, this is not going to happen, right? We can't really build a bridge between this point to this point based on our existing technologies. We can't do it because we have worked out the physics and it's just not going to work. So the inventor would be like, okay, we need a new material. We need a new concrete that is 10 times the strength of our existing technology. We need an architecture that is way better in terms of its wind resistance than what we have right now, because it's going to break if we build a bridge that is so long and is so windy. So this is what the innovator would do. So you got to realize that there is a whole spectrum of how you are going to do things. Right? So there are two dimensions. You would need to decide what area you will be in. For example, I want to be in the life sciences. I want to be in chemical engineering. I want to be a ballerina or whatever. And then within that, you will need to decide, at least for now, have a goal, where you want to be, how you want to do it. Do you want to be a technician, carrying out instructions that are given by someone? Do you want to be, the one that is solving the problem? Or do you want to be the innovator who says that what we have today is not good enough? We need something better. And I'm going to take the time to figure that out. You need to decide for yourself where you want to be. And that is a commitment level problem. More than anything else, it's not IQ. It's not how smart you are.
Says usually the time I go to family. Right.
Yeah. So I'm done. So these are the first two questions that I came up with, and now the floor is yours. Is it fun? Depends on who you ask. It's fun for me, in the sense that it is something that is very meaningful to me. So if I don't find it fun, I wouldn't be doing it for a long time. So yes, it is fun for me, but no, it is hard work. And I think in determining what you want to do, my advice is you have to pick something that you find that you find meaningful, that you can actually, because you're gonna run into a lot of difficulties. You're gonna need your courage. You're gonna need your perseverance. If you cannot find something that you really want to do something about, you're not gonna last. You're gonna be switching from area to area, from job to job. You won't last. My degree, this PhD has been giving me a lot of grief. Just because doing science is nothing like learning science. You go to a class, they give you set problems, you write a test, and you get a grade. But doing real science is nothing like that. And they don't teach you until you go into grad school. And they don't even teach you a lot in grad school. Doing science is all about now that you're on your own. Your world is infinite. This is reality. If you fool yourself, there's nothing to memorize. There's nothing to focus on. Your focus is the problem. Your focus is not on what the test is going to be like. Not the test format, not what the teacher will ask, what he taught. Doing science is confronting with reality. Because reality won't lie to you. It won't lie to you. If you don't get it right, it won't work. So you have to go through a lot of failures and not give up until you finally get something that works. Right, the famous Thomas Edison story, right?
Yeah.
Great question.
So you mentioned, I like your example about three kinds of people. There's a technician, there's an engineer, and there's an inventor or innovator. So how do you know, like for people that age, they're 17 years old, some people are very inclined to innovate things or design things or create things, but some are not. I think for you found out from very early on that you are that type of person, that you wanted to create things and you want to design things, innovate things. But do you see that there's a personality trait for each kind of person?
Did you want Brother Randy to come and talk with your group, or?
I don't know.
At some point this morning, I think the idea was for him to interact with this group as well.
Oh, okay. When is the time?
It's up to you.
Oh,
I just wondered, like, he's with us, and I just wondered if you guys wanted time, because I think there's how much time left for training service?
So perhaps at 12?
yeah, sure. Do you guys understand my question? Like, how do you decide you are a technician who like to follow instructions to do things? How do you decide you are an engineer? And how do you know that you are the person who likes to create things?
I don't know, sometimes it's just like, I'm just gonna say talents, because I don't have any other word for it, but sometimes like people's certain like abilities and talents can focus
Yeah.
on, because I have a friend who likes to play with like Lego and stuff, and he still does. He likes to build a lot of things that I couldn't think of. So then I think if he was asked that question, he'd be more like the physically do it kind of person. Whereas I have a friend who likes to plan it all out. He likes to draw and like make schematics, and then he likes to like invent it and just make it up. Like, even though he might not be able to build it because he doesn't have the materials, or he just doesn't know how to. He just can't build it for whatever reason. He just likes to make it up and stuff. So I think he could be like the inventor, and yeah. So I think it's all about your interests in the talents you have.
That's actually quite a tough question. If you look at it very plainly, I would say that these are